Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to our Friday Fireside Chat. This is a privilege. I've often said this vantage, this viewpoint that I get of our human tapestry, sitting with families day after day, talking about intimate aspects of their life. And it's often a wonderfully positive experience, verifying for me that people are generally good and kind and want the best for each other. However, I do often occasionally see some a little bit more sad things, some disturbing patterns that are arising in society. And one of those patterns that I have seen over the years is the prevalence of vulnerable people in our families' lives, between autism in children, mental illness in teens and young adults, dementia in seniors. We have a swathe wide in our society, in our families that need help. Now, we could do a Google search and we could see that 1 in 54 has autism in the US. We can see that I think our dementia figures now are 1 in 5, mental illness 1 in 7. But those statistics often exist in silos. And what I'm seeing is that all three of them together in our society is almost 1 in 3 of our families need some sort of special needs trust planning. Because we often don't talk about these subjects, we have no idea how common they are. So with a family member with such a vulnerability, we can be fearful, we can feel alone, we sometimes feel ashamed and often feel overwhelmed. That's the sad news, but the good news is we can do so much with special needs trust planning for your vulnerable family member. Special needs trusts are this wonderful tool that are blessed by the state and federal government. If you have that vulnerable adult or child who is receiving any state or federal or local benefits, they may be getting food or housing help, they may be getting Medicaid. If they are receiving those benefits and you do a simple will or name them as a beneficiary in one of your accounts, they are going to end up with more than they're allowed with their income cap benefit and possibly an interruption of that really important help that they are receiving. When we do special needs trust planning, we can preserve anything that you have to leave for them, for their incremental needs, for their life enhancements, and make sure that any benefits they're receiving for their basic needs are already, that those benefits already in place are not interrupted and are not taken away. This is huge. It makes a massive difference to my clients when they realize that. So first, making sure that those vulnerable people in society receiving benefits don't lose them. Then we have to think about who's going to take care of what's in the special needs trust for them. We'll talk about naming a family member. Is there a trusted sibling? Would there be resentment of that? Maybe we need to get a professional trustee. What would that look like? What are the costs? These trusts are often long-term, so we have to keep in mind that whoever is managing the trust is going to do that for a long time. We look at them, we look at their life, we look at any vulnerabilities they have, possibility of divorce. These trusts protect the money maybe from the vulnerable person themselves. It may be a mental illness whereby maybe that has led to an addiction, and therefore we have to make sure that their money doesn't go for anything that it's the last thing that you would intend or would hurt them further. So we can protect them from ourselves, with themselves with a trust. We can protect them from predators. Often, unfortunately, there are hangers-on and those who will abuse the funds of someone who's vulnerable if they don't have someone to manage that money for themselves. So the trustee, really important we get that person named too, as well as instructions for their care. You know how to take care of your vulnerable family member. We want to make sure that you do this planning, let someone else know how to take care of them. And perhaps most important of all, we want you to do the planning while you're able. Some of the saddest scenarios that I have seen is an adult worried about their special needs child that they've taken care of all their life, worried what would happen to them, don't get any planning done, and then develop Alzheimer's or dementia. And now they are unable to care for themselves or their vulnerable family member. We have no planning done, and we have to go to the courts for everything, which is expensive and public and extremely distressing. So think about your vulnerable family member. Know that this special needs trust planning exists. When I call estate planning the healing law, this is exactly what I mean. The kind of relief that you feel when you know that that family member is cared for doesn't have a price. It's wonderful. So make sure you get this planning done. If you don't get help with me, get help with some good, experienced estate planning attorney. Thanks for listening. I will leave you today with the immortal words of Judi Dench in the Great Exotic Marigold Hotel. If you're feeling stressful, remember that it's not over yet. And if it is over, I've forgotten my quote. What's the quote, Michelle? Help me. So I'll get you the quote next time. Thanks, and I will see you next Friday for Fireside Chat. I've remembered my quote, so I'm going to just jump right back in there. Everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not the end, if it's not all right, it's not the end. I butchered it, but I got there. Thanks for watching. Please forgive me, and I will see you next week on Friday's Fireside Chat.